Hey guys, Blarg and Flarg here. I'm coming at you today with our next new video. It's once again about Brimstone. We actually had a community request from Meow Meow asking us if we could do a defense-sided Brimstone smokes and Molotovs to help players play on their defense, not just on offense. I was aware of the fact that I was only doing offense and that it may have seemed a little bit confusing to begin with. And the reason why I did that was primarily because of the fact that offense is easy to set up. You can, talk to your team and tell them, hey, let's go A, let's go B, let's go C. I've got this great setup. I can smoke them off. We get guaranteed plant. It's awesome. Whereas on defense, you're more locked into a position and you're just sitting there hoping or thinking maybe they're going to come this way. Maybe they're not. That makes it extremely difficult to make a actually valuable video and take account for. The problem is that there's so many different things you have to take account for, especially considering the fact that the enemy may not be coming to your site or the place that you're defending, which would make it so that if you just start straight out at the beginning of the round and use these smokes and Molotovs, you're most likely wasting them, and it's not going to be worth your time. So in light of that, I do suggest that you make sure that you absolutely use your ears, your eyes, your teammates for information before you make a decision on where you use your smokes. But in the case that they're coming to your site and you know they are, I'm going to give you the best possible solution. Okay, guys. We're going to start on Haven on Site A. Now, I'm going to be giving you this information assuming that your team's not working with you at all and that you're kind of having to carry the weight here. When you start on Site A, you're going to want to run straight ahead and take up a position on short A, just behind this wall. Don't peek. Remember, you're on defense. You got no ownership or onus to be offensive. Let them come to you and let them do the work on exposing themselves. Once you sit in this corner, you should be able to get plenty of information on whether or not they're coming here. After that, it gets a little bit tricky. The best thing I can suggest for you is actually not wanting to fully cut them off. You want to restrict their choices. They think that there's going to be somebody in heaven. There's almost always somebody in heaven. So you definitely want to smoke right here at long A. That's going to prevent them for a little bit of time and hopefully give you some time to get started. So you throw that smoke down. After that, I don't even suggest smoking short A. You're going to be watching short A, so you want them to peek you. You don't want to stop them. Now, if you know that they're rushing, then in that case, smoke short A. Because you might be able to make a couple of them hesitate and not overwhelm you with numbers so quickly. But if they're just making a slow approach and you know that they're about to do a set piece and execute on Site A, just try and slow them down, give that information to your teammates, and hopefully you can get a flank going or get some reinforcements on their way. Say they start a different location and then rotate over to Site A and you're given that information. In that case, of course, while posting up in this position still so that you can hear everything, you definitely would love to start out and block out their T rotation right into the connector for short and long A. This is going to give them so many second thoughts on even pushing through here, and you don't have to follow up on this. What it's going to do is it's going to run that clock down. And remember, on defense, the clock is always on your side until that bomb is planted. Okay, guys, we've made our way over to Site B and we're just hanging out now. The big problem with Site B is that you can't tell if they're rushing or if they're just making a slow approach on Site B. Everything happens in a flash. It just happens. You are literally like 2 feet from the window. Look, it's right there, man. They could be here in an instant. So, whenever we start here, I always want you to gauge off of how they've played previously. Don't use smokes in the first couple rounds because you don't know their playstyle yet and you don't really want to throw a wrench in anything. You'd much rather gather that information and then counterplay it. Use it to your advantage that you know how they are. If you have somebody watching Garage, that's great. Don't smoke it. You're going to put them at a disadvantage. If you don't have somebody watching Garage, always smoke the double doors at the entrance. Otherwise, if you know that they like to peek and maybe they've got good aim, or you just know that they like to send multiple people mid to begin every round, smoke off window. This is definitely going to stop them and slow them down a good bit. Say you're peeking and you see them rushing out, and you just get enough time to back up, most likely they're not going to just bulldog and just run right through this double door here, or this open door. So you can smoke off mid here, and after that you can take up a little bit further back position. I like this angle right here because they don't know which way you are, and most commonly people are hiding in either that corner or on top of the boxes there, and a lot of the time attackers will always check on top of this box because there's so many champions that love to hide up there. Okay guys, for the final site on Haven, site C, this one's extremely easy to defend. I will always suggest that you smoke deep. You want to smoke deep back here, because if you smoke up here, you're giving them all this room all the way up to the cubby to work with. But if you smoke all the way back, they're just going to get to that corner. Sure, you're giving them a free ulti orb, but if you're solo watching the site, you're not going to defend it anyways. This will protect your cubby, keep it in your possession, and give you a little bit of time to focus your eyes and ears on the garage. The main thing about that smoke is that it's repeatable. Site C is extremely easy to defend, considering the fact that a lot of the time you do have somebody in garage. Okay guys, remember that as a defender, your primary objective, aside from killing the enemy and stopping them from planting the bomb, is to deny them information and whittle down their time. So the most effective thing you can do on site A, on Split, is to start out and put a smoke down right here. This works extremely well when you drop this smoke here, because of the fact that, as you can see, it blocks all their sight, and they don't want to push through because if somebody could be watching from the CT spawn rotation, and they just get clocked trying to get the ulti orb. This is also great because they can't move from anywhere but here at the very beginning. This is the closest they can start at the entrance to sewers. So by the time they can even get to that corner, your smoke is already down and they're not comfortable pushing through it. Of course, if that spot doesn't work, the next runner up would always be to deny both access locations to the site on both ramps, towards the site and towards heaven. You want to hit these spots pretty quick if you can, because the problem is you need to gain a lot out of them. You're using 2 smokes, and that only leaves you with 1 left. With 1 smoke, and they've already taken the ramps, there's not a lot of options left.
Smokes down.
This is what the smokes look like as an attacker, from back, and from the ulti orb. They can't see anything here. I really love the mid defense on Split because it's such a tight area that whoever's aim and reaction speed is better generally wins the fight, just because there's not a lot of wiggle room. So it's who sees who and can click the head faster. Now remember, there's 3 viable spots for you to stand in while defending this area. You can stand in the rope room, you can stand just around the corner here, or you can stand in the B rotation. The best spot, if you're not confident you're in your aim, is around this corner, because most people are going to prioritize checking B hall and the rope room, considering those are the most common locations, and they definitely don't want to be facing away from them right as they're coming up the stairs. The best spot you can smoke here is always going to be the bottom of the stairs, just like this, because you can see the edge of that smoke. You know what that means? You see them before they see you. Boom. Dead. Don't fall into the common misconception that you have to keep control of this whole area. Most people like to smoke both sewer entrance and from CT spawn on the B side. This is okay if you really want to control the whole area. The problem is that you're using 2 smokes immediately and you're not really gaining anything from it. You didn't have any information in there before, and they didn't either. This area was kind of a no-go zone for both of you before the round starts. So all you're doing is basically delaying the round start, using most of your utility right away. That honestly benefits them more than it benefits you. Another big thing to this smoke on the stairway here is that you're giving them all this space back here, but only temporarily. Because once that smoke fades, you get all this space back. So this is what the smoke looks like when it's down as an attacker. You've got tons of room in here as the attacker. You think, great, I could take this orb. I own this space. That's awesome. They gave me tons of room. The problem is when this fades, now they're open to 2 angles of attack, both from B connector and from rope room. So they cannot just stand out in the open here. That is almost always going to push them to hide in this little corner, this cubby back here. One of the greatest things is that you can Molotov that. So say you're defending mid from behind the corner here, and you had your smoke down, and you heard somebody move into that cubby next to you. Well, you may just be thinking, well, that's great. I've got the information. I've got the advantage if they come sneaking around because I know they're there. They don't know I'm here. Yes, you're absolutely right. But why not take it one step further? They don't know you're here already, and you've got a Molotov. If you line yourself up right here on this corner, and you put your aimer, I know it's hard to see, I got this tiny little pink aimer, but right on this line at the bottom of the painting, and fire, your Molotov will bounce right around the corner and into the cubby and burn them alive. Okay guys, so the B site on Split I think has the most variables in how you can defend it as Brimstone. You can take 3 different courses of action here on defense that are all viable and work extremely well in my opinion. Your first line of attack would be to smoke out right here at their entrance to the garage. Now you have to remember, their lead person is still going to make it into the garage even with this smoke. So if you drop this right as the round starts and you run in, somebody's still going to make it in here most likely. So if you're confident in your aim and you can take that person out, you can set up shop in the garage here and do whatever you'd like. The next spot that I suggest on the B site for defending is to be hiding behind this box here and putting a smoke right at the entryway here. That way, the edge of it is just sticking out. Remember what I said in mid? That edge of the smoke there is your friend. If they push through that, you've got the perfect headshot angle and the advantage because they're coming out of a smoke grenade. My last suggestion for defense on the B site on Split is definitely the most risky one, but it can also reap some big rewards and some awesome highlight reels. So you can do it either from back here on the B site in the cubby, you can do it from up in heaven on top of the line here, or you can do it from the B rafters. Just remember that heaven and the B rafters are extremely common position and everybody checks them. So I would always suggest either staying down there in the cubby or even trying behind the pillar once or twice. The position that you want your smokes in is actually right where you were just standing. I want you to use 2 and only ever do this if you know that they're going to rush B. You place both these smokes down here and that forces the enemies to come to you. They're going to look right down that hallway and say, oh crap, there's 2 smoke grenades in front of me. I know for a fact somebody's hiding behind those, waiting to just pop me in the head as I come out and try and plant in default behind this box. So they're going to come right over here in this open hallway and try and get to the site. That gives you the perfect advantage. This is what those smokes look like as an attacker, just FYI.
Smoke's down.
So bind is going to be a bit of a finicky thing for this video. Just considering the fact that on this map more than any other, I suggest that you hold on to your smokes for as long as you possibly can. This is the map that people use the most trickery on and throw the most fakes on and then rotate to other locations using teleporters or even just running back because the map is really small and easy to get across. Now, when you're defending the A site and you're watching the showers area, I don't ever want you to smoke off this spot in your showers. This spot is your favorite spot to have open because this doorway has endless possibilities for where the enemy could get shot from. So limiting it even more doesn't do you any good. So with that information, what I want you to do at the start of every single round is I want you to smoke off the doorway at the front of the showers. When you throw this smoke down, it gives you all this room to move around in, including grabbing the ultimate orb for yourself. This also is going to put an extra edge of paranoia on the enemy because they don't know where you are. Now assume that you're defending mid and teleporter rather than the showers. Over here, you don't use a smoke grenade. Not unless you know that something's happening. It is extremely common that people just throw out utility in here anyways. This is honestly the biggest waste exchange area I've ever seen. Because people just throw stuff out. Like, they just come to this random agreement of, hey, we're going to group up in mid and just let loose all of our utility. And let's play the rest of the map, or the rest of the round out, just using our aim. Why not, right? But you could be different. Of course, if you know that they're pushing, drop it right next to this box. That gives them two options. Either they use some sort of utility, whether it's a satchel charge, a jet jump, a sage wall, or an omen teleport to get on top of this box, but all of that is obvious and you can take care of it, or they push through without it and they're gonna die. The last thing to take note of on the A site is that people like to use some utility to block off the connection to the site and then go through the teleporter. If you're in position nearby, somewhere around U-Hauls or this mid connector, and they go through that teleporter, drop a smoke grenade right at the exit to the teleporter. This is going to give your teammates so much extra time, and this is what that looks like as an attacker, by the way. Similarly, on the B site, I don't really suggest that you use your smokes unless you know where the enemy's going. Now, of course, if you want to be aggressive, you can still use your smoke grenades offensively at the beginning of the round. If you drop a smoke grenade there and then peek, don't make any noise, you can either get the advantage by them pushing through the smoke grenade, they back off, number 2, or 3, you just buy yourself some time and can reposition back in hookah or even behind this box, which they probably won't check if you're more of a defensive player and you don't like to push up as much. Definitely suggest keeping your smoke grenade, as I said on other maps, right at the entrance to hookah here. Don't put it towards their side, put it towards your side. That way, when they come through the end of it, you get a major advantage and can just click their head. In a similar situation on B long here, I actually do like one smoke. It's very easy to tell if they're going to push up B long. And I don't normally suggest that you peek B long unless you're an opper and you're really proficient with it. So when you're coming up to B long, just like I've said a million times, always throw your smoke on your side of the hallway. This gives you the advantage in the fact that 1, you can still grab the ultimate orb. 2, if they want to push up, they either have to get all the way through the smoke grenade or leave themselves out in the open in the middle of the hallway with nowhere to run to and nowhere to hide or block bullets. On a last note, if you're stuck holding off site B alone on Bind, which is god awful and should never happen and is honestly just not very viable or likely to succeed, I'm sorry, I apologize ahead of time, you can always sit back in the elbow rotation or on site in either spot and still get the smokes down where you need. And you just got to take the doorway from B long and the window to hookah, and you got to block them off the best you can. And really just hold out until your team shows up, man, because otherwise you're screwed. Hey guys, I know I didn't say much in the way of Molotovs for defense. That's because I just don't think that Molotovs on defense are really a set thing. Molotovs are great for so many different things, but shouldn't be used in a forced location on defense. The big benefit to Molotovs that I want to remind you of during this video is the fact that unlike a smoke grenade, an enemy cannot walk through a Molotov. So if you have a spot that you absolutely have to stop them from getting to or getting through, use your Molotov there and it'll get you the time that you need. So I know I did my video a little bit different this time, guys. I actually recorded live rather than doing a voiceover and kept my webcam up. I wanted to do this to try it out, to see what you guys feel about it, and see if you guys like the more personalized feel to this. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and come check out my my Mixer stream sometime. I stream every Tuesday and Saturday night, guys. It's a lot of fun. I'll see you there.